Hey everybody, we're back. Today is Friday the 16th, and it's only been a few days since my last video, so I think I'm on a roll posting these things out. Hopefully this will go out much sooner, but we'll see. So today's video is about a new novel I actually just finished reading, which is quite surprising because I normally don't get to the end of the novels, because either they're ongoing, which is most of them, or I just don't get to the end if they have an end. So, as I was saying, today we're talking about Seoul Station's Necromancer. And in my personal opinion, I don't think this novel is as good as the other novels I've talked about. However, I have a thing for reincarnation, returnees, OPMCs, etc., etc. These are just like my favorite genres. So I have a sweet spot for them. So I've heard about this novel, I've seen it on lists, had it recommended to me by Novel Updates, a whole lot of other stuff. So I finally gave it a try, and after reading 208 chapters, I'm done. And I've got a lot I want to talk about. So let's get right to it. Our main character, Kang Woo-jin, is transported to another world, Alphen, for 20 years. And during that time, he had to survive as a lone necromancer. And by the end of his 20-year journey, he becomes a king of a country. Except the country is only filled with undead. So he is basically the only living person in that country. And his experiences those past 20 years, and as the monarch of that country, make him very cold, and he's pretty much an ass at the beginning. And while he still is an ass, sort of, continuing on in the story, we're going to talk about that later. So after those 20 years, he becomes strong enough to make a request from a godly being called the Dimensional Admin, in which case he makes the request to return to Earth, and the Dimensional Admin obliges and sends him back to Earth. After returning to Earth, Kang Woo-jin is dumped in the he's dumped right next to his old school, and realizes that only 5 years have passed since he was transported away. So, while he's familiarizing himself with the world, he realizes that there is something different about the world now. All the subway stations all around the world have now turned into dungeons, and he experiences that fact very intimately by walking into one without knowing what's about to come. Either way, besides that, that's pretty much the setting of the story. And throughout the story, our main character, Kang Woo-jin, continues to grow as a person. At first, he was pretty much only kind of warm, somewhat warm with his family. However, as the story progresses, he starts warming up to the people around him. He starts being a little more considerate about other people's feelings. And I say a little, very literally. It's not a lot, but he is much more considerate than he would have been at the start. And that kind of progression is really nice to see in a novel. I really like it when the experiences that make up a character and make up his character, they start to shift after the experiences start to change and he's in a new environment, etc., etc. But besides him and his development, this novel has a lot of fights. So if you really like reading about one guy beat up another guy, beat up an army, whatever, destroy explosions, this is gonna be a fun read for you. There is so much fighting. It is crazy. I don't know any other word to describe it. My vocabulary is very limited right now. But like I was saying, tons of fights, a good amount of character progression from not just the main character, but also from the people around him, and yeah. But other than that, I think that's about all I want to talk about for Soul Station's Necromancer. Like I said before, I personally don't think it's a 10 out of 10 super amazing, I'm gonna gush over it novel, but this has been a good read for the genre that I have a need to indulge in every now and then. So if you're like me and you really enjoy like these kind of genres, then give it a read. I'm sure you'll love it. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.